So here are my thoughts. God, some of these people that you really want to get a hold of, I guess you could get a hold of them through Twitter and stuff like that, but they get so many messages, Facebook, whatever. You're not going to. We're living in an era of total disarray right now, but I do believe that evil will flare its head, but good always trumps evil. So I think Trump will definitely win this election. I just feel it. Um, but what I'm concerned about is like 2024 when the election, Trump will be out by then. That'll be the end of his term. He can't run again. And like I said, we live in a great constitutional republic. Nowhere in the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, um, Pledge of Allegiance, nothing does it say anything about democracy. Our founding fathers preached against democracy because of what it leads to ultimately in the end. They did not want to deal with, they didn't want anything of democracy on the table. It's a constitutional republic. So at any rate, democracies fail over time and they become like anarchies, and then they're turned back over and they go back to oligarchies. So at any rate, with that being said, I think in our country, we made headway over the last couple centuries since 1776. We've seen a lot of bad, we've seen a lot of good, we've seen a lot of more bad and a lot more good. We definitely made a lot of headway. Like at some point, blacks weren't allowed to vote, blacks were executed, they were hung, hanged. Women couldn't vote, minorities couldn't vote, all that. Now they can, and blacks are not hanged anymore, not legally. Um, Still a lot of crazy stuff out there. I did a lot of my homework. I already knew a lot of this, but I did a lot more homework and just seeing stuff. And it's like, and I fact checked the stuff, and it's like, wow, it's crazy. I watched this 48-minute video, and I didn't know that the blacks actually created the actual Republican Party, and the Democrats created the KKK, and they actually admitted that they created them for political control and to neutralize the Republican Party, which were blacks, and whites joined too. But it was the same thing when it was a bunch of hardworking black people that believed in taking care of business. They were law abiding. They loved the fact that, the Grand Old Party, Lincoln, all of them freed the slaves. And some people are like, well, some of them had slaves. But you have to understand that, like, everybody had slaves back then. It's kind of like, well, I think it's kind of like rescuing, and this is horrible even put it like this, but it's kind of like rescuing a dog that's walking on the street, or um, if you don't, somebody else will, and they might mistreat it, or it might die on the streets, so presidents did that because at the time it was legal, and they did not approve of it directly. That's why it worked up to the Civil War and all that. At any rate, Democrats created the KKK, excuse me, to start killing blacks. And at the time, they thought it was okay to even verbalize and be obvious about it, And they would hang them, and then they would go through and they'd find out anybody that was white that's for them, they'd kill them too. This stuff went on for a long time. But at any rate, we've advanced. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all them, they protested, they fought for civil rights, they got it. And I think that's awesome. That's great. It should, because I think anybody that can look at another human being just simply because their skin color is that's the ultimate definition of a piece of crap. I don't care if you're white, black. You can sit there and look at somebody and go, oh, you're an N-word because their skin color. Well, you're white trash if you can sit there and say that, and vice versa. Because there's black people that are racist too. They hate white people just because they hate white people, and I don't care. I don't care what your skin color is. If you're a good person, I like you. We may not agree on everything, but if you're a good person, I still respect you. If you're a piece of crap and you hate people and you do bad things, I'm going to dislike you regardless of your skin color. I've been stolen from. Like, severe stuff happened 3 times in my life, and all 3 of them were white people. I've had my gun safe, and I had black people working with me. Never thought anything of it. It was never touched. And they knew that gun was in there. It's stupid to sit there. It's psychotic. It's derangement to sit there and think that, oh, somebody's black, so they're going to steal. How many crackhead white people are out there in this world? Probably more than there are trashy black people. I guarantee you that. I don't look at somebody because of skin color and think they're going to steal from me. But at any rate, start with Obama, this police thing. He fed this because he didn't say anything. He fed it. He indirectly supported attacks on police officers. So now then you get your shitty ass. Sorry, the sun's in my face. Your shitty ass people that are entitled, that don't know any better. Well, they do know better, but they don't know any different. We'll say that. Committing crime and thinking, oh, cops are bad. So anyway, there's this Democratic thing right now. They're using. We all have seen it. They're using racism as a way to divide the United States, and this is what they're trying to do to obtain power, keep power, because right now they're running scared. What people don't understand is that Trump is not a racist. Do people understand that? Back way before he ran for president, down in Florida, I don't know what county, there was a club that segregated, a county that segregated minority people, Jews, blacks, and all this, and Trump bought it and said, no, they're going to come into my club. He bought it for that reason, and he went and he fought it. And he won because he didn't agree with how this county was acting. This county was they're white, all white, primarily white, and they're racist, and prejudiced towards anything outside of what they believed, Trump bought that to fight for it. And he won, and it's there now. Well, I don't know if it still is, but I mean, at that point, this is, I don't know, it's 15, 20 years ago. So we have such a racial divide right now because starting with Colin Kaepernick, I call him, and that was only because he lost the starting position. He was just throwing a fit, and that's what he used as an excuse to justify why he took it. He sat on the bench, and somebody said, well, you shouldn't sit, at least take a knee. Either way, it's wrong, but whatever. My point of this video is that I would love to reach out to Colonel Allan West. Very, very integral American soldier. He did his time. He did 4 tours. Born February 7th, 1961. Very integral man. Strong, godly, God instilled, American loving patriot. And then you have Dr. Ben Carson, who's 10 years older, actually. I didn't know he was that old. He doesn't look that old. Dr. Ben Carson was born in 1951, I believe. He ran against Trump, the Republican Party, in 2016. The primaries, didn't make it. But he's a very educated man. Was raised in the slums back in the 60s, 70s. His mom did not let him or his brother go out and go and play. They had to read a book a week or something like that, and he became a doctor, and um, he actually performed a procedure that separated two conjoined twins. They were born with their heads conjoined, and that is like a very, very, very extremely risky surgery. And he performed that, and he succeeded. And they're now, they're probably, I think this is like 1988, so they're like 32 years old. They're doing very well, and if you look at them, you wouldn't even know. The man's very level-headed. Um, Evenly spoken, whereas Allan West is more like he speaks his mind. And I think like the president should be somebody that more well, more more so speaks their mind. They're more hard spoken, and I think the vice president should be more the level-headed kind of out of the two. You got the good cop, bad cop, so to say, for lesser whatever explanation. Like Trump, he's outspoken. Pence is very reserved. Not that I don't for a second think that Mike Pence would not be a good president. I think he would. But I think at this point, what I'm getting at is I believe that with all this racial divide that has been created and sparked up over the last, it's been about 6 years, 5, 6 years. It's been amped up since Trump, but Obama started this with the whole not speaking anything about attacking police officers, He made it out there like it's okay. Indirectly. He didn't actually go out there and say it, but if you watch his response to people resisting arrest 5, 6 years ago when it happened, he didn't say anything. Sometimes silence provokes criminals into thinking it's okay. Like you have that silent parent that doesn't tell their kid what to do. Well, the kid's out there acting like a fool. They don't say anything. The kid's going to keep acting like a fool. Oh, dad's okay with it. Mom's okay with it, whatever. You actually have to put your foot down and say, hey, enough is enough. That's not okay. Obama knew what he was doing. He did a lot of things. He should actually be going to prison right now. There's a soldier that was talking about this, that when he went in there for Gaddafi, took him out of there, and he went in there without, you're supposed to, the president has to have a declaration of war approval, in order to go and do stuff, and he went in without it. He actually went to prison for that. Nobody said a damn thing because the media is run by Democrats. So anyway, whatever. Going back to what I'm pointing out, there's a racial divide right now because of everything that's being thrown out there. I think it's time. I think it would be great. Mike Pence, I think, would be an awesome presidential candidate for 2024, But I think at this point, I think we need a true, legitimate black, I don't care if it's a woman or not. It could be a minority either way, but you got to be a conservative. You have to be American. If you're not a conservative, you're not American. You might think you are if you actually look and do your research on our founding fathers opposed democracy. We do not live in a democracy. Nowhere does it state, I already said that earlier in the video, about democracy. They actually specifically specified that they do not want a democracy because of where it ultimately returns to, an oligarchy or communism. But anyway, I think we need a true Americanized, patriotic, constitutional Republican conservative. I don't even want to use the word Republican. We'll say constitutional conservative. Somebody that believes in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, our Pledge of Allegiance, all of that. We need somebody like that to run this country, which we have one right now, actually, and people just don't see it. But I'm saying we need a black person. I don't care if it's a woman or man. But I feel the two best people right now to do that is Colonel Allan West. He's a black man. Okay? I'm only emphasizing this because I'm trying to point something out. Otherwise, I don't give two shits about what somebody's skin color is. But I think at this point right now, Colonel Allan West and Dr. Ben Carson, those two, they're both very, very extremely intelligent, educated, integral, male black figures. I think they will bring whites and blacks back together, all the minority, the hatred. I think they can eliminate that. I think they can help out the black community as well. Because they don't think about things as black and white themselves. They think about things as American. So whether you're black or white, they don't look at that. That's the way it should be. When you fill out an application, they should never ask what's your race. It doesn't matter what your race is. Are you black? Are you white? That doesn't matter. That should be NA. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. That shouldn't be an option on an application. And maybe it's not. I haven't filled out an application for a long time. I've worked for 2 companies in 22 years. But anyway, I feel that what that would do having 2 black integral male, and the reason why I point out male, I think would be better for one reason. One of the big things hindering the black community is, and it's not just the black community, it's just that the black community has been left behind so much because they're, the democratic cities, they've been stuck in rural areas and they've been hindered. So they've been left behind to some degree, education-wise and all this, because of the democratic values. They don't want free school. They don't want school of choice. Even Joe Biden was like, I don't want my kids going to a racial jungle when he voted against school of choice. He also said, lock those SOBs up when it came to the crime bill of 94, which I agree, lock up criminals. I don't care if they're white, black, whatever, but he was talking about blacks because it led into the conversation. We said he didn't want his kids going to a racial jungle. But they were locking up people for marijuana possession, and you had people with marijuana possession doing far more time in prison that were black than pedophiles were doing. That's insane. Oh, and Biden was okay with that. He supported it. He signed it. He spoke heavily in support of it. He was also very good friends with Robert Berg, who was a heavy recruiter for the KKK back in the 40s. All right. Let's go back to that. I think that with the fact that the blacks have been left behind in rural areas, I feel that having a lot of it is because if you go back 50 years ago, the average black, this is black families, 75% of them had fathers in the home, 25% did not. Now it's the other way around. 25% have fathers, not even necessarily in the home, but in their lives. 75% have no father figures in the home. So that's an issue. And it's not the blacks, because whites do it too. It's more so with the black community because it's a preaching type deal. What media tells you. And then when you put them in prison, lock them up. That's another thing. Some of them deserve to go to prison. Some of them, for marijuana possession, do not deserve to go to prison. But at any rate, there's no male figures there for structure, for discipline. It's hard for a woman to do it all by herself. And then you have these guys going out there, they're committing crime and stuff. All right. Nobody to look up to other than athletes. And then you have these athletes like LeBron James who are kind of promoting, again, staying silent when they're going out there shooting cops and then saying that, cops are hunting blacks down. No, they're not. They're breaking the law. There's 2 of them in the last 10 years where cops were in the wrong. The one guy, I don't remember his name, was running. The cop shot him like 8 times in the back in the park. I think it was Virginia or something. I don't remember. That was wrong. The other one where the cops were laughing because the guy was autistic, I think, and died. And he's like, oh, I think you went to sleep, Like, no, that's wrong. Now, the George Floyd thing, those cops handled that wrong too, but he was a piece of shit. He was a piece of shit. Karma got him. Asked that woman who he robbed, broke into her house, and held a gun to her stomach, how she's doing today, That guy should never got out of prison after that. There are certain things where I think they should go to prison, lock the key, throw away the key. But anyway, Rashard Brooks fought with the cops, assaulted the cops, stole their taser, turned around, shot the taser at the cop. Anyway, that's another story. Anyway, point being is that black males need icons. They need role models, as do white people. But I'm just saying that they have less of them. Okay? I feel that a black president, integral, strong, role model, integral, hardcore, ethical black male, two of them, president, vice president, as icons, show the rest of the black males in this country, like, wow, they made it. Not just a black president or a black vice president, but a black president. Obama doesn't count as a black president because he was, for one, a Muslim traitor. And I don't care about the religion thing. I'm just saying that he was trying to sell America out to the Muslim entity, into other countries. He was demented, and he's only half black. I'm talking two full black males that are totally patriotic, conservative, believe in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, very extremely educated, not corrupt by any means. Both went through hardships in their lives. Both fought and delivered. Their whole lives have been nothing but good human beings. Two integral, strong-minded, intelligent black men to run this country in 2024 would show other black men like, man, this is what I could do. They're both men of integrity that respected their mothers, respected their wives, respect their wives, respect their kids. They're there for their kids, take care of business. And they will bring back, they'll eliminate the racial divide that little wedge that's been shoved in. They'll bring everything back to the way it's supposed to be and push it forward. I'm telling you, my ultimate objective here is Lieutenant Colonel Allan West, who's a paratrooper, and Dr. Ben Carson. Two very, very highly intelligent, integral, moralized men of faith. Both black men, very strong. Okay? Remember that. They love the Constitution. They love this country. We need to vote for them in 2024, but we have to get them to run. Maybe it could be the other way around. Dr. Ben Carson is president and Colonel Allan West is vice president. Either way, we need them to run in 2024. Our country is ready for to have legitimately two, not just a vice president or not just a vice president or a president. No, we need sorry, my leg's itching. Back of my knee. We need a black president and vice president. We need that. This country needs that right now. And the reason why I say male, again, is because black men need to have a positive role model. Not LeBron James, not a positive role model. I'm talking president and vice president. Like, man, these are two actual black men they respect their mothers, they respect their fathers, they respect their wives. They're integral, right? They went and did something with themselves. We need this. America, we really honestly need Dr. Ben Carson and Colonel Allan West. Help me get this video out. We need this desperately. This will project every single piece of junk will be left behind. Every bad thing in the country will be left behind, and it will project all the good that we're all trying to get to. We need this. And if somehow Dr. Ben Carson, Lieutenant Colonel Allan West, sir, if you somehow find this video, please take this in consideration. I know that you're patriotic. My family is patriotic. My stepdad was in Vietnam, did 3 years over there, 65 to 68. My grandfather was in the Army as well. Please, if you get this, please, 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 get together, please. Please run in 2024. Dr. Ben Carson and Lieutenant Colonel Allan West, please run in 2024. We desperately, as Americans, our Constitution, a great, beautiful constitutional republic, more than ever, needs the two of you. Please. Okay? I think it's going to happen because God has his ways. He's going to make it happen. Please. Help me get this to those two, please.